Hello friends and welcome into NFL Daily. I am your host Tom Downey. Today we're taking a look at the NFC Playoff Picture, the final one until the NFL regular season is over. And there's quite a lot that has yet to be sorted out this year. Seeds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are all open in some form or the other. Kind of crazy, you know. In fact, only one spot in terms of teams is available right now. That comes down to the NFC East. So who's going to win it? Type C for the Cowboys, E for the Eagles. I think it's pretty obvious it's going to be Philadelphia. I don't see them finding a way to lose to the Giants. However, that would be the greatest comedy factor in the NFL playoffs. And you guys know me. I like comedy factor. So maybe we should be cheering for the Cowboys. But I feel pretty confident it's going to be the Eagles. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Now on to the rest of the playoff picture here. The current number one seed is the San Francisco 49ers, coming off a win over the LA Rams 34-31. They have already clinched a playoff spot. We just don't yet know which spot that is going to be. It will come down to Monday Night Football on the road against the Seattle Seahawks. A win secures San Francisco the number one seed. A loss drops them all the way down to number 5. It is the NFC West Championship game. Even though San Francisco is on the road, they are the favorites. Line has moved up just a little bit on BetDSI. You see the links there at the bottom. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL120 gets that deposit bonus. You guys know the drill by now. 3.5-point favorites in what is going to be a fantastic game. I think the Niners defense has been a little bit banged up right now, but Seattle's coming off a gross loss to the Cardinals. So who do you guys got? Let me know in the comments. Type SF for the 49ers or type SEA for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with San Francisco. I've been very impressed by them. As we'll get into here in just a second, Seattle also getting bit just a little bit right now by the injury bug. Now, because these two teams played, we'll jump around a little bit here in the order. We won't go 1 to 6. We'll go 1 to the current number 5 seed, the Seattle Seahawks. And this is fascinating to me in a just total chaos sort of way. Seattle can finish as the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, or the number 5 seed this year. That's kind of crazy. Here we are with one game left in the regular season. They have clinched the playoff spot. They can finish no worse than number 5. But getting the 1, the 2, or the 3 will depend on what happens this weekend. So here are those scenarios. The Seahawks get the number 1 seed if they, of course, win versus San Francisco's loss, puts them at number 5. Win versus San Francisco. If Carolina upsets the Saints, and the Lions beat the Packers, not all that likely. Now, we'll break down some more scenarios, but I want to mention this as well. This is a great timeline to be alive in, folks. Marshawn Lynch is back with the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know what year it is anymore, but he's back. Seattle has a rash of injuries. Rashard Penny is out. Procise is out. And then, of course, Chris Carson also out for the year. So they've brought back Marshawn Lynch. He only played in 6 games last year with the Raiders, but he's back for a playoff run. Pretty crazy, right? It's a fantastic time there to be alive. So, of course, we went through the 5 seed. Losing, you're there. Went through the 1 seed. There are also 2 and 3 scenarios here for the Seattle Seahawks. It all depends on what happens this weekend in the NFL. For the number 2 seed, of course, they still need a win. They also will need the Lions to beat the Packers. Notice the common theme there between the 1 seed and the 2 seed. They need Detroit to win, and they need the Saints to beat the Panthers. They clinch the number 3 seed if they win, and the Packers, when that Saints game, folks, has 0 outcome if Green Bay beats Detroit. If that happens and the Seahawks win, they are locked into the number 3 seed. The reason there is because of tiebreakers. The Saints beat the Seahawks. Therefore, if those teams finish with the same mark, Saints get in ahead of Seattle. So that is why that game for New Orleans has no impact on the Seahawks if Green Bay beats Detroit. So in all likelihood, probably looking at the 3 or the 5 seed if you're Seattle. Moving on now to the number 4 seed for now, the Philadelphia Eagles, the only spot unclinched in terms of playoff teams. We know the seeding's up for grabs, but the Eagles right now are the number 4 seed. They have not yet clinched, however. They beat the Cowboys 17-9 in a frankly ugly game. 2 defenses that suck, and they combined for 17-9. Go figure, right? They can clinch with a win over the Giants or a Cowboys loss. More on that game coming up. But first, the Eagles on the road against the Giants. Only a 4-point favorite. Kind of interesting, is it? Wouldn't you think the Eagles would be a bigger favorite on the road against the Giants team that's not that good? I mean, sure, the Giants can get to 5 wins or whatever, but that's really not going to do a whole lot there. I like the Eagles. Maybe it's only the money line because it is a road game, but I like Philadelphia in this one. I think they'll win it. You can bet on this game and, of course, all of the NFL games this week and the playoffs, too, and bowl games on BetDSI. So head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120. It gets you a 120% deposit bonus. So you put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. You will not find a better betting deal out there on the internet than the one on BetDSI. It's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120. So who you guys got this week? Is it the Eagles or the Giants? Give me a 1 for the Eagles, 2 for the Giants. I know we got a lot of Cowboys fans watching. I feel pretty confident it's going to end up being Philly this week. Now, as a reminder here, folks, the Cowboys are still alive in the playoff picture. There's one team left to be determined. The seeding is all up for grabs beyond the 6th spot, which we'll get to in a minute. But the Cowboys are still alive, technically speaking. They're coming off is clunker the right word for it? Disaster? Maybe shit show. Shit show's a good one there. 17 to, that's like 2 words, or it's a hyphen, I don't know. 17-9. They get in if they beat the Redskins and the Philadelphia Eagles lose. That is what they need to get in. By the way, one note, I'm not doing ties. Ties just come with the hell of everything, so I'm just not going to bother with it there. You guys, there aren't going to be any ties anyway. Even the Dolphins-Bengals couldn't tie. But as for the Cowboys, do you even want them to beat the Redskins? I think it's a fair question. So type Y for yes and for no. Playing at the same time as the Eagles, so they'll be trying to win. They'll probably win the game. The Eagles will probably win. They'll finish 8-8 to just somehow perfectly encapsulate the Jason Garrett era, and then, they'll have a worse draft pick. Frankly, even if you make the playoffs, you're not going to do anything. You couldn't even score against the Eagles. Half your team is banged up. The Cowboys can claim Amari and Dak are fine. Are they, though? I certainly don't think so. I'm actually typing in no. It is draft season. Tank this game, fire your head coach at the end of the year, thank God, FG's in the comments, of course, and get a better draft pick. But the Cowboys will probably win. So there you go. And we kind of ignored 2 and 3 because it's complicated, and we just kind of went in a different order this time around. The Green Bay Packers, they have clinched the NFC North with that win over the Minnesota Vikings. And because the NFC East sucks this year, they at least have the number 3 seed. So they're fighting for 1, their current seed 2, or if they end up losing, they could drop down to number 3. So here are their seeding scenarios. They get the number 1 seed if they win and the Seahawks win. If that happens, Niners fall down. Packers have the tiebreaker over the Saints if they win, no matter what, because of NFC losses. They get the 2 seed if they win and the 49ers win. They also secure it with a win and a Saints loss. Like, they're going to get in at least as the 2 seed in there. They get the 3 seed if they lose to the Lions and the Saints win. So in all likelihood, given that they're playing a pretty poor team in the Detroit Lions, the Packers are going to have a bye this year. Now, we'll see if it's the number 1 or the number 2 seed. They would have to really kind of collapse in Week 17 against a bad Lions team. I don't see that happening. However, it's tough because the Niners did beat the Packers head-to-head. So tiebreaker-wise, San Francisco does have that advantage. That's why the Niners are playing for number 1 or number 5. So who's the best team in the NFC? As weird as it sounds, you got 4 teams fighting for the number 1 spot. You've got the Saints. They've played very well this year. Green Bay, as the defense has stepped up. I'm a little worried about that offense there overall. The Niners have played really well this year. So who is the best team in the NFC? Scroll down to those comments and let me know. Now to the number 3 current seed. That is the New Orleans Saints. Coming off a win over the Tennessee Titans, 38-28. They've already clinched the NFC South. Now they do need help here to get a bye in the playoffs. It's kind of tricky, but this is where they sit. So here's how they can get the number 1 seed, still alive by the way. They need a win over Carolina, a loss by the Packers, so Lions win that game, and the Seahawks to beat the 49ers. If that happens, congrats New Orleans, you are the number 1 seed. Feels kind of unlikely, right? They get the number 2 seed if they win, Lions also win, and then the Niners beat Seattle. So it ends up being 49ers have the number 1 seed, Saints slot in at number 2. There's also a scenario here where if the Packers beat the Lions and the Seahawks beat the 49ers, then whatever the Saints did doesn't actually matter because the Packers have the advantage there. But the Niners are in the 5 seed, Saints ahead of Seattle there in the end. Because as a reminder, the Saints beat the Seahawks earlier this season. So just keep that in mind there. The Saints, 3 might be their most likely outcome. So who will be the number 1 seed in the NFC? Is it going to be the 49ers? Is it the Packers, Saints, Seahawks? I think San Francisco wins on Monday Night Football. Therefore, I think the Niners end up winning the NFC and getting that coveted home field advantage and, of course, a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Of course, if you disagree, go put your money where your mouth is on BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120. It gets you a 120% deposit bonus. So you put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. It's chatsports.com/bet, and that promo code NFL120. So we've gone through all the teams except one, and that is the Minnesota Vikings. That's because, well, it doesn't matter what happens. Regardless of what Minnesota does this weekend, they are the number 6 seed. That is where they are going to finish. They are locked in to that spot. They have a Week 17 game against the Chicago Bears. In the end, it is meaningless. The outcome of Minnesota has no impact on the NFC playoff picture. Impacts draft order, especially for Chicago. They should try and tank that game. But no matter what happens for Minnesota, they are locked into that number 6 seed in the NFC.